Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. I have to tell you, I'm truly energized today to be with you guys. And part of the reason is I feel like we are at this transformative time. And you've heard me talk about this before, but every single day, I feel like we get closer and closer to a victory. And I don't know if you guys happen to catch Steve Bannon on 60 Minutes. We got a couple of clips. I'm not gonna bombard you with them, but every time I see certain things about, what's happening in the country and some of the things that Bannon was saying, I understand why Trump selected him, because it was a strange choice. I know Steve Bannon, and he and I wouldn't say we had a run-in, but we had an interesting discussion one time on his radio show. And I thought, who is this guy? But I get him more after the interview. I don't know if you guys happen to catch it. But we've got Hurricane Irma that's, now on our coastline and on the heels of Harvey. And, an outpouring of true Americanism going to the people of Houston, Texas with respect to Harvey, the people of Florida and all the others impacted. And not only that, we're concerned about the world. I mean, Puerto Rico got hit. The Bahamas got hit. All kinds of people are now suffering over this. Islands getting pummeled. And what we have is leftists losing their minds, blaming global climate change during hurricane season, mind you, Trump's election, the wrath of God, and all kinds of things. And I talked about this the other day, where I'm saying, who would say this in the midst of a disaster? Well, that's just the God is punishing us for putting on Obama or whatever. God has better things to do. God has mapped this thing out. He knows how it's going to be. I know that, depends on how you believe, but I firmly believe this. And he's giving us what we want in whatever form or fashion. All right. And for people, I would never, I was thinking of when What's-Her-Face made a comment that it was the National Day of Crap Hole, of A-holes is what Alyssa Milano said after Donald Trump called it the National Day of Prayer on Sunday after the hurricane victims of Harvey. And she couldn't even put her partisanship aside to say that. And a friend and I were talking, and I said, no matter what happened in the time of Obama, if he had made a National Day of Prayer after a national disaster, I would have been for it. And I keep coming back to, that's why you're winning, folks. People are watching Alyssa Milano. They're watching Jennifer, What's-Her-Face, the girl from Hunger Games, who is a lunatic. They're watching these people go off, and so are you. And I don't know what your resolve was prior to Donald Trump's election or prior to whenever. I don't know when you called yourself a conservative, whatever. I've been a conservative since I could think. And that's a true statement. And I know people give a lot of credit to people that make the switch. Give them credit. But you know what? I never had to make a switch. I was always sane. I didn't have to have a come to Jesus on, oh my goodness, I wonder if I should try harder in school, if I shouldn't shoplift, or if I shouldn't, if I should treat people with respect and blah, blah, blah. Once I learned the principles of being a good human being, I didn't need anybody to tell me, oh, Kevin, you can have moral relativism when it comes to your own personal choices. No, that's what's called self-indulgence. That's what's called sinning. I call it whatever you want. But that is not the way God or whatever thing that drives your conscious being has you do. And you know it. You know it innately. And so I thought about the show today, and I said I would call this show Weathering the Storm. That's what, if I could come up with something thematic. I mean, we got to do too many shows for me to have a theme every single day. But I would call it Weathering the Storm. I would tell you to look at all the signs around you. Go back 10 years. Go back to the beginning of Obama, and I want you to look at the signs. I want you to look at people talking about, I'm not going to have to work anymore. People are going to be paying my rent. Open, porous borders that have led to, 20 million people and 800,000 dreamers in America today. A policy that allowed terrorists to not only live in our midst, but to set up training camps to kill us. And we know this because our crooked FBI director at least had the nerve to tell us that. He said in every state in America, there is a terrorist training camp. I want you to go back to a time when you knew that was when that was never a possibility. But now I want you to think about these terrorist training camps. I want you to think about the attack on immigration. I want you to think about the attack on the Constitution, where a guy arbitrarily, after telling you he's not a king, does what a king does and establishes DACA, the Dream Act, ignoring the dreams of Americans. A guy who knows that constitutionally he cannot require a citizen to pay something, and yet that's what he does by Obamacare. And when a president, a leader comes on who says, you know what, enough is enough. We are forcing things on the American citizen that are outside of the executive branch. Let's give it back to Congress and let's undo these unlawful, unconstitutional acts. And what happens? The left loses their minds. By the way, they agree with it 100%. We posted a series of memes that were the news saying one thing during Obama and the news reporting another thing during Trump, or even days apart, saying one thing about Trump and another thing about Trump, literally days or weeks or months apart during the time of Donald Trump's presidency, etc. We documented it. And Donna Brazile is a perfect example. She loved the ACA, Obamacare. When it came out, she was all, boo, we love Obamacare. Then she got her bill and she tweeted, what the heck? I called my insurance company, my bill is doubling. I called them to go, what the heck's going on? That's the life of leftists. They love it in principle, but when it applies to them, then they hate it. Folks, I'm telling you, you are weathering the storm. And the storm is a storm created by the left. You've warned them that the hurricane is coming. And they said, you know what? We will just stay our ground. And you said, no. It is a category 5, folks. This may be the worst hurricane of your creation. And they said, it's okay. The hurricane is black. It's named Barack Obama. We don't care. The hurricane is named liberalism, leftism, progressivism. And we said, we're warning you. And they said, no. The levees will hold. No, the pumps will get the water out. And they said all that stuff. And you know what happened? They're drowning in their homes. You're winning.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.